The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden glow on the bamboo grove surrounding the gathering. The air carried the faint scent of blooming jasmine, weaving a sense of serenity among those present. Buddha sat cross-legged on a simple mat, his gaze steady yet warm. As he prepared to speak, "Friends, today I shall tell you about Kisa Gotami," Buddha began, his voice calm and measured. Her grief was a storm, vast and consuming, for she had lost her only child. The disciples leaned forward, their attention captured by the weight of the tale. With her lifeless son in her arms, she wandered, seeking help from anyone who might restore him. Door to door she went, her pleas echoing in the ears of strangers, yet receiving only sorrowful looks in return. Buddha continued. Her desperation carried her to me, her cries a mirror of the pain that dwells in all beings. His words painted a vivid picture, each syllable imbued with compassion and understanding. When she fell at my feet, her anguish poured out like a torrent, Buddha said, his voice softening. She begged me to restore her son, her hope clinging to the belief that miracles were within my grasp. The disciples listened, their own hearts stirred by the tragic narrative unfolding before them. I did not turn her away, Buddha said, his tone resolute yet tender. Instead, I gave her a task, one both simple and profound. The grove seemed to hold its breath, the weight of his words settling over the assembly. I told her to bring me a mustard seed from a household untouched by death, Buddha recounted. Hope flickered anew in her heart, and she set out on this quest with determination. The disciples exchanged glances, understanding dawning in their expressions. Door after door, she knocked, Buddha said, and each time, the answer was the same: death has visited here too. See the farmer who planted the seed, his hands coarse yet steady as he tilled the soil. Picture the rain clouds, heavy with water, nurturing the sprout as it reached for the sky. Grief, she saw, was a thread woven into the fabric of existence itself. The disciples bowed their heads, the universal truth sinking into their consciousness. When she returned to me, her son still lifeless in her arms, her tears had dried, Buddha said. Her heart, though heavy, carried a newfound understanding, a resilience forged in the fire of shared suffering. The rustling of leaves seemed to echo the quietude of the moment. Kisa Gotami spoke no words, but her eyes revealed the transformation within her. Buddha continued. She embraced the truth of impermanence, finding strength in acceptance rather than resistance. The disciples felt the weight of the story resonate deeply within them, each reflecting on their own experiences of loss. In that moment, she joined the Sangha, seeking solace and guidance in the shared journey of others, Buddha concluded. Together, we walked the path of awakening, drawing strength from the interconnectedness of all beings. Indeed, Rahu, to eat mindfully is to honor the interconnectedness of all things. Through the storms of life, we uncover the strength to endure, to adapt, and to transcend. The disciples nodded, their faces etched with contemplation. To find resilience, we must first embrace the universality of suffering, Buddha said. In the recognition of shared pain, we discover the threads that bind us to one another. The grove, bathed in the soft glow of twilight, seemed to affirm the truth of his words. The lesson of Kisa Gotami reminds us that no one walks this path alone, Buddha continued. Our trials are not isolated, but reflections of the human condition we all share. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves, carrying with it the echoes of his message. As we face adversity, let us remember that our burdens are lighter when carried together, Buddha said. Compassion and understanding are the lanterns that illuminate the darkest of nights. The disciples felt the warmth of his wisdom seep into their spirits. A balm for their own struggles. The storm of loss, though fierce, cannot extinguish the flame of resilience within us, Buddha said. With every challenge, We are given the opportunity to grow stronger, to find meaning amidst the chaos. The air seemed to hum with the resonance of his teachings, the grove alive with the energy of transformation. In the face of suffering, let us cultivate the courage to endure and the wisdom to adapt, Buddha said. For it is in the acceptance of impermanence that true freedom resides. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts swelling with gratitude for the gift of his guidance. Remember, friends, that resilience is not the absence of pain, but the presence of strength amidst it, Buddha said. Let us walk this path together, drawing from the wellspring of compassion and the unity of our shared humanity. The sun dipped below the horizon, its final rays casting a golden light over the gathered assembly. It is a way of being, a path to liberation. He gestured toward the surrounding forest. Another day, another gathering, and the disciples assembled under the cool shade of a sprawling Bodhi tree. The morning sun cast dappled light across the ground, and a soft breeze stirred the leaves overhead. When you speak, let your words flow from a place of truth and compassion. The disciples listened intently, their minds absorbing his teachings like parched earth drinking rain. His skill with the bow was unmatched, and his pride grew alongside his fame. The disciples listened attentively, their curiosity piqued by the introduction of this character. The sun climbed higher in the sky, its light filtering through the canopy of leaves. Buddha's voice softened as he concluded, "Mindful eating is the seed." The grove seemed to lean in closer, holding its breath in anticipation of the unfolding tale. One fateful day, Sarjuna prepared to demonstrate his skill before a crowd, Buddha said. As he drew his bowstring, a loud snap echoed, breaking the silence. The disciples flinched slightly, their imaginations capturing the tension of the moment. Birds continued their songs, and the gentle rustle of leaves seemed to echo the wisdom shared that morning. In the quiet aftermath, the grove felt forever changed, imbued with the sacred essence of mindful awareness. The weight of the narrative settled over the assembly, their empathy growing for the fallen archer, overwhelmed by his failure. Sarjuna abandoned his bow, Buddha continued. He could not bear to face the evidence of his imperfection. The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, the story touching on their own fears and insecurities. Wandering aimlessly, Sarjuna carried his broken bow with him, a constant reminder of his shattered pride, Buddha said. Each step was burdened by the heavy weight of his regret. The rustling of leaves seemed to echo the melancholy rhythm of the tale. It was during this time that I encountered Sarjuna, Buddha said. I saw in him not only sorrow but also potential for growth. The disciples straightened, sensing the turn in the story where wisdom would illuminate the path forward. Come, he said, beckoning Rahu closer, and I shall share a lesson in balance and nourishment. The disciples leaned in, their curiosity piqued as Rahu knelt before Buddha, his hands resting nervously on his lap. Buddha began, "Let me tell you a story of a tree and its fruits. A lesson in haste and carelessness." He paused briefly, ensuring their attention was fully captured, and continued, "In a village far from here, there stood a tree whose fruits were the sweetest anyone had ever tasted. The villagers, eager to enjoy its bounty, rushed to pluck the fruits, ignoring those that fell to the ground." Buddha's voice grew softer, imbued with a hint of sorrow. It reflects not only our mistakes but also our capacity for transformation. The grove seemed to exhale, the wisdom of his words washing over the assembly like a gentle wave. Rahu's face reflected his understanding, and Buddha placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "Rahu, your body is like the tree, and food is its fruit. If you consume without thought or care, you risk depleting the energy that sustains you." He gestured toward Rahu's bowl of rice. "Pick a single grain and hold it between your fingers. Feel its weight, its texture, its essence. The disciples felt a stirring of hope, the story shifting from despair to redemption. In time, Sarjuna returned to his craft, Buddha said. He approached archery with a heart tempered by humility and understanding. The grove basked in the warmth of this transformation, the air thick with the promise of renewal. He taught others not only the art of archery but also the art of embracing imperfections, Buddha said. His wisdom became his new strength. Buddha nodded approvingly, his eyes filled with warmth. Indeed, Rahu, failure is not the end but the beginning of growth. The words settled into their hearts like seeds, ready to take root and bear fruit in their own lives. Resilience is the courage to face our flaws and the wisdom to learn from them, Buddha said. It is the strength to rise again. The disciples bowed their heads, their spirits stirred by the clarity and power of his teachings. The story of Sarjuna reminds us that our worth is not diminished by our mistakes, Buddha said. Instead, it is defined by how we rise. The gentle breeze carried his words, spreading them like whispers through the grove. Friends, let us not cling to the broken remnants of our past, Buddha said. Instead, let us use them to build a better future. The disciples nodded in agreement, their hearts swelling with gratitude for the profound lessons shared. In the face of failure, let us find the resilience to grow, adapt, and transform, Buddha said. For it is in our imperfections that our humanity and strength reside. The grove, bathed in the soft light of morning, seemed to echo the truth of his words. Together, we can rise from the ashes of our mistakes, Buddha said. Together, we can cultivate resilience and forge a path to enlightenment. The disciples felt a deep sense of unity, the interconnectedness of their shared journey a source of strength and inspiration. As the story of Sarjuna came to a close, the disciples sat in contemplative silence, the lessons etched deeply into their hearts. The grove, alive with the gentle rustle of leaves, bore witness to their reflections, a testament to the enduring power of wisdom and compassion. Another day, another gathering, and the disciples assembled under the twilight sky, the air cool with an impending night. The Bodhi tree stood tall, its leaves whispering in the gentle breeze, bearing witness to the unfolding teachings. Buddha sat in serene poise, his calm gaze sweeping over the disciples as he began to speak. Once, there was a man named Dhamma, Buddha said, his voice steady, carrying the weight of yet another profound lesson. Dhamma was a seeker, consumed by a deep yearning for enlightenment, dedicating himself to the relentless pursuit of truth. The disciples leaned forward, drawn into the narrative as the story took its shape. He meditated tirelessly, pushing his body and mind to their limits, denying himself food, sleep, and all forms of comfort. Buddha continued. Yet, despite his efforts, enlightenment eluded him, leaving him frustrated and disheartened. The soft rustling of leaves seemed to echo the tension in the tale, a reflection of the struggles within. The grove, now quiet and still, seemed to hold the echoes of Buddha's words, a sacred reminder of the middle way. Another day, another lesson awaited as Buddha and his disciples prepared to share a meal in the bustling village square. The villagers gathered eagerly, their eyes filled with respect and curiosity, as they observed the serene assembly of monks. Buddha's presence exuded calm, his robes flowing lightly in the gentle breeze that carried the scent of freshly cooked rice. As the sun ascended the sky, painting it a soft gold, Buddha raised his hand to address the gathering. Today, he began, his voice steady and clear. We shall learn the art of mindful eating through the act of sharing. His disciples listened intently, their bowls of rice resting humbly in their hands. While the villagers leaned closer to hear his words, Buddha gestured toward the meal prepared by the village, its simplicity a reflection of the community's offerings. This food, he said, his tone imbued with gratitude, as a gift born of the labor and kindness of many hands. He paused, allowing his words to settle in the hearts of his listeners. Before continuing, to eat mindfully is to honor not only the food but also the beings who contributed to its creation. The disciples nodded, their expressions thoughtful as they contemplated the profound interconnectedness Buddha described. He turned his gaze to a young villager seated nearby, a child holding a small clay bowl with trembling hands. Buddha smiled gently and motioned for the child to approach. "Come closer, my dear one," he said, his voice warm and inviting. The child hesitated briefly before stepping forward, their wide eyes filled with wonder. Buddha knelt slightly, bringing himself to the child's level, and spoke softly. As Dhamma eased his relentless grip, a transformation began within him, Buddha said. In surrendering to the flow, he found the clarity that had eluded him for so long. "Sita, would you share the story of how this food came to your bowl?" Sita looked uncertain at first, but Buddha's reassuring presence gave them courage. "My mother cooked this rice early this morning," Sita began, their words gaining strength with each sentence. He found his enlightenment not in struggle but in surrender, not in force but in flow. The disciples reflected on their own struggles, the story offering a beacon of hope and guidance. "Friends, resilience is not a battle fought with clenched fists," Buddha said. "It is the quiet courage to let go, to trust, and to move forward." The grove, bathed in the deepening hues of twilight, seemed to embrace the wisdom of his words. To flow like the river is to embrace change, to adapt to circumstances, and to find strength in movement, Buddha said. It is in the rhythm of existence that resilience resides, allowing us to overcome adversity with grace. The disciples bowed their heads, their hearts swelling with gratitude for the profound teachings. The story of Dhamma reminds us that effort is essential, but knowing when to let go is equally vital, Buddha said. Resilience is not resistance. It is harmony with the currents of life, a dance with impermanence. The gentle rustling of leaves echoed the eternal truth of his words. A symphony of nature affirming the lesson. Let us not cling to our struggles, Buddha said. Let us instead learn to flow, to trust the journey, and to find our strength in surrender. The disciples felt a profound sense of unity. The interconnectedness of their shared journey a source of comfort and inspiration. As we navigate the rivers of life, let us remember the lesson of Dhamma, Buddha said. Let us find resilience in our ability to adapt, to let go, and to embrace the flow. The grove, now cloaked in the soft glow of the rising moon, bore witness to the quiet reflections of the disciples. Together, we can face the currents of existence with grace and courage, Buddha said. Together, we can cultivate resilience and forge a path to enlightenment. The disciples sat in contemplative silence, the story of Dhamma etched deeply into their hearts, a seed of wisdom planted by the Buddha's words. The night embraced the gathering, a gentle reminder of the cycles of darkness and light that define the human experience. The teachings of Buddha lingered in the air, a timeless guide for the disciples as they continued their journey toward awakening. Remember, each meal offers an opportunity to nourish both body and spirit while fostering compassion for all beings. The disciples and villagers bowed deeply, their hearts swelling with gratitude for Buddha's wisdom and guidance. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.